Agenda meeting, March 28, 2022. Please rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, 2022, under God, please rise and salute the flag, liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Lewandowski.
Here.
Councilman Niles.
Here.
Supervisor Molina.
No video.
Okay, as all that's been watching us for a few months, the agenda meeting is to just put forth what we're going to be talking about in 2 weeks at our regular board meeting and resolutions that have to come in front of us. So we're all ready to have them done. The first one I'm just going to put out is, if you heard us 2 weeks ago, Ron Dool brought a proposal from Department of Environmental Conservation about helping them do some work at some of the parks along the Hudson River. And I'm pretty sure you remember it was $50,000 the town is going to get paid. And I'm just bringing that up. So this will be one resolution that'll come out next week so we can vote on it officially. The next part of my meeting here, I have a whole bunch of things that I'm going to talk about. And if any of the board members have any questions, I'm going to let Lori read them one at a time, and if I have to answer any questions, I will.
Okay, the first thing is discussion and possible resolution to buy a used pickup truck for buildings and grounds and the water department, possibly 2 years old with 24 to 30,000 miles on it.
Okay, that's because we have, Ron has been going out, and so has Rick from Buildings and Grounds. I even stopped at a couple of places myself. We cannot get any new trucks, at least for 6 to 8 months, and that's still an IFA. So this resolution, I'm asking the board to allow us to go out and see what we can find as used trucks, so we can have it within weeks instead of 6 or 8 months. So that's the first one. Also, inside of that part, it's not on your agenda because I just got it today, this afternoon, is that Rick is mentioning about the small garbage truck, the problems we're having with it. And we're talking about it more, but the International is a 2011, so that makes it 11 years old. And they're figuring out the cost of keeping it on the road. They can keep it on the road now, but they just want to let us know that down the road, we might have to be getting a new truck or going to another, the private sector or whatever the case may be. All right, Laura, the second one?
Possible resolution on amending the budget for employees payroll for not getting cost of living increase in the 2022 budget recommendation at 2 to 3%.
All right, that'll be on the agenda for resolution. 2/3 of our employees did not get a cost of living raise, and I'm trying to get them some extra money, take it out of surplus funds, make it retroactive back to January 1st, to make everybody happy. All right,
That's buildings and grounds, right?
that's buildings and grounds and the clerical department. Anybody that didn't get a 6% raise will get something out of this resolution. All right, second one, third one.
Discussion and possible resolution to purchase 2 walk-behind lawnmowers for buildings and grounds department to maintain town properties.
Okay, that was changed. Went over that with Rick. He wants the riding ones, not walk behind, the riding ones where the newer models where you get a wider cut. We need 2 new lawnmowers to maintain the property at town of Lake Luzerne in the summer. And that's one of our biggest assets. People like the way the town looks. And also now that we're doing the cemetery, there'll be some. Now, the only other thing that I was talking to Rick about, that it was approved by this board back probably in July, maybe August, to buy one. Somebody wanted to volunteer to give the town one. Something happened. I don't know the whole story, but we never got it. So I think we have a resolution that we authorize them to buy one, but the attorney says because it's last year's resolution, we'll have to make the resolution for 2. If that'll be talked about next week. Okay. Yep.
Discussion and possible resolution to move forward with purchasing flowers using the community and beautification budget line or occupancy tax.
All right, for years and years, we've been putting flowers out around the town. We always ordered them early. This year I did not order them. I just want to get the board to understand. And Rick and the Building the Grounds made a recommendation that maybe we should put barrels out this year so we can do perennials more. And
That note is in their packets.
That's in, yeah, you have it in your packet of what they wrote to us. And so that it make it easier for them to maintain them instead of getting up on, water them every day. So that's one more resolution, all that's in your packet. All right. Next one.
Discussion and possible resolution to resolve the payment of the Part B reimbursements that were introduced in 2007 and modified in 2015. 2022 and 23 payments of $1,200 and then ending the program altogether.
All right, this is something that I come up with to try to end this problem with this extra pay that's been going on since 2006. I'm making a proposal that we continue this year with $100 a month, that's $1,200 a year, and also continue it into 2023. And after that, make it come to an end because it's getting to a point, it's getting tougher to keep under the 2% cap. Okay.
Discussion and possible resolution to bring back the deputy supervisor position, which was eliminated by the town board last year. Lake Luzerne is the only town in the county that is working without a deputy supervisor. The deputy position is very important in helping the supervisor maintain his working commitment to the town taxpayers of Lake Luzerne.
And this is something I'm asking to get back the position for deputy supervisor. The previous board of last year took it away. I'd like to get it back because it's a lot of help to me to keep up on emails and keep up on notifications and keeping up, notifying the board on certain things that go on that sometimes I slip up on because I'm doing a lot of other things. So that's, I'm asking for that, and that'll be on next month's, 2 weeks from now, meeting.
Discussion and possible resolution on the applications of the town of Lake Luzerne that the town of Lake Luzerne has received for zoning and planning, cleaning, and constable.
Okay, we did interview some people for planning and zoning and a cleaner of the town hall. We do have a new application for a constable, which we would have to talk about. And also today, a gentleman walked into the town hall. He was just looking for something to do. He just wanted a couple hours. So I asked him if he'd be interested in the crossing guard, because we're back to crossing guard again. So that's twice a day, 1 hour a day. He said he'd love to do it. I gave him an application, told him to fill it out and make sure he got it back to us. Yep.
Discussion and possible resolution, Scott Hayden of the Adirondack Folk School, Charlie Burgess of the Open Space Institute, and myself being Jean have met regarding the town of Lake Luzerne designating the 8.6 acre parcel surrounding the 51 Main Street parcel as parkland. This would satisfy the conservation easement requirements so that the easement could be transferred to the town. According to the conversations with Mr. Burgess with said property designation and zoning change, the Open Space Institute will not oppose physical improvements in this area for the purpose of increasing the capacity and impact of the Adirondack Folk School to expand.
This is something that happened long before all our times. The Open Space Institute, why they got it from the town of Lake Luzerne, I do not know. But they've been controlling 8.6 acres down by the old town hall all the way to the river. We have to meet with them every year to go over, make sure we're keeping it clean and we're doing things right. In talking to them a few months ago, they're interested in returning that property to us. There's no money back and forth, no financial, but they will rescind their easement on that property and return it to us if we do just pass a resolution, leave of open spaces. And the reason why I'm interested in this, and I think the town should be interested in it, is because the folk school is expanding. They like to put a building there eventually down the road. They'll be here next month, I think it is, to renew their contract. We've already talked about it a few times. They need a contract for at least 25 years. They're starting to get people to volunteer in space in Queensbury and other places so that they can grow. And I think it's better off if we do something in a town like Luzerne, keep those people here and come into that folk school.
Discussion and possible resolution to appoint 2 town board members to the Workplace Violence Committee as per Colleen Cook's recent email, which has been emailed to you and I believe is in your packets.
Yep. Colleen says we need 2 town employee, not town, excuse me, board employees for the workplace violence board. So we'll have to bring it up next 2 weeks from now, and we needed 2 people to be on that board. The rest of the stuff today is just going to be general information that I've been receiving, and I think the board's been receiving. We got notification. I guess towns around us are going to start paying $17 for lifeguards an hour, and ours are asking for the same. Keep in mind, we do have employees that make $16 an hour in the town. So some of our workforce is only at $16 an hour. So that's something we have to discuss next meeting also. We got a request from the Tri-Town seniors. We haven't given them any money for the last couple of years because they haven't taken the seniors out. There's Corinth, Hadley, and Lake Luzerne. Seniors go on bus trips. So I'm going to bring up a resolution, hopefully that we can get requested from our surplus funds in the budget. We did not put it in the budget this year because we weren't even sure they were going to be doing it this year. So you'll see that next week. I'll let Mr. Niles speak. We have the contract for milfoil.
Yes, we received the proposed contract from AE Diving Services, and currently Attorney Crow is reviewing it. So I would like to get a resolution together on the agenda for next time to proceed with that contract.
Thank you. The last one I have, we did, thank you for Ron and his guys. We finally found out that that building on East River Drive is using a well. So we will have to work with the water committee at the next meeting to refund them. I think it's 2 years of money he's been paying. And the well is being used. He has a well now and he's not using the water supplied by the town of Lake Luzerne through Corinth. And that's about all I have. Mr. Niles, you have some stuff?
Yeah, I got a couple things. On September 22nd of last year, we signed a contract with Solitude to prepare our application to use milfoil on the lake and to do a small study on the non-invasive species. We need to renew that contract because it's expiring. So they've issued a new one, same cost, same scope, with no expiration date. So I'd like to get a resolution up to re-sign that contract.
Do you have a copy of that?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay, we need a
Yeah.
copy.
And the money's, we didn't pay them last year, so
Right.
the money was approved in the budget, so all we have to.
I'll email the
redo it
old
this
and the
year.
new to Lori and Mike Crow. The other thing I have, and this is new, it's kind of a feather in the town's hat and a big feather in the hat of the Lake Association, that they have gotten a paper they wrote accepted to be presented at a conference coming up the end of June. It's in Lake George. It's the New York State Federation of Lakes Association. And the Lake Association is going to be presenting a half-hour conference. And the title of their paper is Lake Luzerne C-SLAP Restart, Challenges and the Implications of Data to Our Community. Kane Oppenlander, Kurt DeKolst, and Mike Schaefer are going to present that paper. So I would like to propose to the board that we pay for the conference for 4 people, the 3 people that I just mentioned, and myself. The cost is $75 a piece. The other thing I had, Paul, are you going to talk about the garbage truck or no?
Well, he kind of touched bases on the garbage truck.
Okay, so we're covered
We
on that.
received a letter this afternoon from Buildings and Grounds about the garbage truck. The present garbage truck we have now is only a 15-yard or a 16-yard truck. And if for some reason our big truck goes down, which is a 25-yard 2019 vehicle, the smaller one is not large enough, and it's going to take multiple trips more until that truck is repaired. The truck that we're talking about, the 16-foot International, is a 2011. We have problems with the turbo on it right now. Engine cooling is disappearing, meaning possibly head gaskets or something else. It's not leaking from the radiator or the hoses. The PTO pump is rotted and needs replacement, which is causing transmission fluid to leak out of that unit. The air compressor seals are leaking. Hydraulic system needs servicing. Rim seals are leaking. The truck has a lot of rust over it, and electrical issues are a constant problem due to corrosion. These are the things that were brought to us by the mechanic in that department. I am assuming at this present time, he's going to get a price together on what we're looking at cost-wise on repairing this and bringing it up. But if we're leaking fluids and things like this, they've got to be taken care of immediately, if not sooner. Okay. To our last larger 25-yard garbage truck that the town owns, at that time in 2019, a round figure was $197,000 to replace that one. So I would imagine we're probably, if we go out to replace it with the same size, we're going to be looking at probably $230,000. Okay, this is why the town board is also looking into prioritizing it and possibly coming up with another solution.
That's all I have.
Oh, is that?
The only other thing I've got is, as we all know, Mike spoke last week about his absenteeism. He's taking a course with the EMS, but it is a EMT course. And the original dates that the meeting was supposed to be held on was Tuesdays and Thursdays. They changed it on him, which he put quite a bit of money out because the squad or anybody down there does not pay for this course. And they changed it to Monday and Wednesdays. I would like to see possibly changing the meeting, and we're talking about 8 meetings in total over the next couple of months is what we're talking. He's all done in the middle of June, and changing our normal meetings instead of Monday to Tuesday nights if it's possible.
I'm not available Tuesday.
I'm aware of that.
And there's,
Well, you have to have a clerk to have a meeting, so.
and there's a couple other things too. We're gonna have to inform a lot of people, newspapers, people that, it's not just that easy to change a lot of people's schedule. But we can discuss it in the next 2 weeks and come up with an answer too.
Okay.
And I don't know if you saw the pictures of what happened to the garbage truck last week or 10 days ago,
Yes,
when they're mud deep and axles are mud deep,
and that was just driving in.
just driving into dump. Yeah.
They looked to the side of that truck and there was part of a sofa sticking out of the ground. And actually what that truck is driving on over at that location is garbage,
That's what it is.
okay? I discussed the other location, I can't think of the first name, Hollow, okay? And of course, their costs are considerably amount more because all they are is a dropout point, but they're set up very nice, like the county, where you drop their garbage and immediately that truck is pushed off. The garbage is pushed off into another area. They're on concrete
Drop on the slab, right?
and they're on a slab. The place we're presently going to, we discussed this already in regards to damage to the truck. This time, they were able to pull it out for us. But at the same time, the rear step, which our men stand on, had just been replaced 2 weeks before that. And trying to get that truck out of there, here we go again with more damage to the truck. It was discussed about going back over to county. And it was debated to not go there because the additional cost. We were talking, I believe, what was it, $21,000 in additional cost?
At the burn plant.
At the burn
Yeah,
plant.
yeah.
Where they have a concrete slab, the truck pulls in, they dump it on the concrete slab, and it's pushed away from them. As you can see by the picture, I wish we could show that on our screens, the additional damage, and this is what our men are putting through or going through to take care of our disposal every time.
I have, just so you know, at the last, I think you were sitting in the audience, the last board meeting, I also sit on DPW, and I brought these pictures and I complained about it. I was told by the head of the DPW, they've gotten more complaints, not just from us. And they're gonna look into something before September is when we do our new contracts and see if they can go other places and see if we can get a better price. So, but we have to do something because this truck, looking at these pictures, up to your axles in mud.
The whole thing is you're looking at a truck, by driving in on something like that, the men get out and look, it doesn't matter. They were just pulling in and the truck literally just sunk. So you're looking at a new vehicle, if we got to replace that because of a twisted frame or something of that sort, and that's our larger dump truck, at a cost of $230,000.
There are other costs too that are awful hard to empirically evaluate. The attitude and morale of our guys when they have to deal with this, that attitude is effective and it's not positive. The second thing that's even harder to put a number on is the safety issue. Something happens to this truck and they go down the road, have an accident. It could cost us a lot more than $20,000.
That is correct.
Or it may never happen. So how do you put a number on that?
Right. But I know myself, and I don't think there's anybody on this board or in this room would like to have to step out of that truck
Scope that out.
and walk through that stuff that you're looking at in that picture to,
I've, for one, I'm starting to think $20,000 is cheaper, is the cheaper way.
no,
Well, it might be a little less than 20,000 now because we're going into April already. So we've had 3 months. I mean, if you want, I can call and see if they'll take us and see if get a price for 2 weeks from now and maybe move over to there. That's
Yeah.
something that's up to the board.
it's just a very large expensive by pulling in on something like that. And God help that what previously happened, which took off the brake system on that truck, doesn't happen again. And we don't put frame on that truck where we can't even use it.
All right, thank you for comments. You have anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Jim, you have something?
Give me just a second. On the planning and zoning board candidates, Attorney Crowe, did you have a chance to look into the definition of resident?
Yeah, it's, there's no specific definition for it in the context of a planning and zoning member. It's not a one size fits all or one question that's dispositive. It's similar to a analysis of domicile. So it is a combination of all the things that we were discussing at the last meeting, where you receive your mail, where you're registered to vote, where you intend to return when you're away somewhere. So it's not a measurement of any certain number of days or any one particular box that you check. It's a little bit more vague and amorphous than that, which I think would have to be made on a case by case.
I was just going to ask if you would be willing to have a conversation with one of the applicants and pose those questions and then
Certainly.
perhaps make a recommendation to us.
I think that's a great idea because now with the job force we have out there, we can't be too choosy. We got to get the right people. And if they don't live in our town and we feel they're the right people, we should at least give them a chance.
This particular individual contributes greatly already.
I'd be happy to.
Okay,
Okay, thank you. We'll get you,
I'll
we'll
put-
get you his
I'll
name.
put you in touch with
I've
Howard
got,
Schaefer.
I got something else, Gene, that I'm curious. We've expended quite a bit of money on the dam situation, all the engineering and additional to the last request. And I have not heard anything back on what the results were or anything of this.
The last I heard, maybe 2 weeks ago, they're working on the paperwork and they'll finalize what problems we have or we don't have.
Okay.
So it just takes time. They're working on it.
Okay.
Thank
Because I
you.
know they were in the end of last month.
All right. You done? Yeah.
I think, unless
All right.
something else popped up.
Ron, anything you want to contribute to this conversation? No, you can't buy any more trucks.
No, we're all good there. I just want to bring it to the board's attention that Hadley, they're interested in our white sweeper that I was to surplus before winter. I held off because I thought Queensbury was gonna be interested in it. But Hadley came over and looked at it, and for the amount I was gonna start at, they're willing to give 7,000 for it, so I believe it's fair. It's hard to say if I would get more or not, putting it on the auction site. So I would like to let that go to Hadley for that amount.
Doesn't that have to, that has to go up for salvage first, doesn't it?
Right. We have to put it out for salvage first.
It's gotta
But
go
I
up.
have no problem with that. I'd rather see Hadley get it
Right.
because the neighbors with us, they work together with us and.
Yeah, that's
I'm
how
not
I feel
sure.
too.
I'll ask the attorney, do we have to put it out to surplus, even though we'll be selling it to a neighbor town?
I think a neighbor town, we don't have that.
I'll look into it. It sounds like something was already designated as surplus already.
Yes, it was designated a while ago that I need to put it up for surplus.
But was it put up for surplus yet?
No,
No, I don't
I
think.
think we had a resolution though.
When do you think that was?
Yeah,
I did.
All right, we'll check into that and let you know by 2 weeks from now.
I got some pickup mirrors that we bought a while ago for our water truck and they got damaged and everything. We bought them off eBay. They don't work for us and they're just gonna sit around the garage. I'd like to surplus them because I have an employee that think that they'll work and he'll pay for what we paid him for. So I just need to surplus that.
Just put it in writing, give it to Lori, what they are, what size they are, and
Okay.
so we can have that taken care of.
And I called around about trucks, just like you did, Gene, and the dealerships are not doing fleet builds, so if you want to order one, you wouldn't be able to order it until August. And he said the used trucks, you're gonna have a very hard time finding one. But,
You'll find
Call
them, but you're
around.
gonna pay for them. You'll find them.
yeah, if you want to pay. Yeah.
Right.
Well, we'll look, we got to do something, and we'll spend a couple of days on it, and we'll have some numbers of what we can
Yeah.
find.
I'm just saying, if we're gonna order one, we gotta wait till August.
Yeah, and then you wait,
We get special fleet pricing, so,
then you have to wait till first of the year anyway, so. We need one truck at least.
yeah. And the parking lot down at the old garage there, I need more money. Blacktop went up $10 a ton, and it's going up weekly. So I figured about 400 tons to do that whole front parking lot
Well, I think we approved back in October.
for
or-
10,
Yeah, for 10,000.
yeah.
All
So,
right, we'll have to put it on to raise that level.
yeah.
But let's get it done.
I know I'm gonna need more money to do this, so just making you guys aware. And when the ground thaws out, I will start that.
Hope to have that in 2 weeks. All these things we'll do in resolutions, and then we'll go through them again, and then any questions. from-
Another,
All right, I'm not.
oh, go ahead, Ron. I'm sorry.
Gene, you asked me about getting quotes on paving, having a company do it.
Mhm.
This is a little sticker shock for you. Just for Kabricki to come in and put down 1 mile of top only, that's it, with them hauling it is 76,000. All right, for them to come in and do 1 mile, putting binder down and top, it's 223,000. So that's where,
Well,
that's where that 50,000 is gonna get you.
last year you came up with figures. Do you remember what your figures were?
I don't now off the top of my head. I think a mile was just under 200,000. But the fuel costs and the index for the fuel for the blacktop it varies every day. And it's already gone up $10 a ton. We're at $60 and I paid 50 last year. So.
All right,
So I will
we got to
give
keep
these
working
to-
on it. That's all.
I will give these to you and
I appreciate you going out.
it's costly to have a company.
Well, it's good that people know. People don't know how much blacktop costs.
Yeah.
And why we can't do every street in our town, but we try.
With that 50,000, I could probably do some.
Yeah, but that
skin
50
coats.
was extra and above stuff you get from the state of New York.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I know that.
But that number could, like I said, when I read that off, could be changed. Could go to 100. We could have one done, you know.
I could do some skim coats over the top and hold it up, prolong it for a little longer, but
That might be good on some roads. And by the time a year, or two from now, maybe things will come down a little bit.
yeah.
All right,
So-
thank you, Ron.
so
Gene,
that's-
there is, in my eyes, something that we gotta get taken care of course, before Memorial Day weekend. And that is the septic tank up at the main beach.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that tank has to get pulled. Okay, and a new tank, because the tank up there is a steel tank. The top on it has rotted.
Yeah, we
And,
went all through that a couple months ago. We're waiting for the ground to thaw out a little bit more. That's that one.
Well,
It's on there.
I realize that, but it's something that needs to be addressed.
We do that in-house?
We can go out for bid also.
Also, go up a bit.
Do we have to have drawings, approved drawings?
That I have to leave to Karen.
I think you need to talk to New York State Department of Health. Don't they oversee that, the beach, any of the beach stuff at all?
Yeah.
You better talk to them. I think you're looking at engineered plans.
I know we're well over 100 feet away from the water situation.
But if it's a repair of a system, it's one thing, but if it's a replacement, probably gonna have to have an engineered system.
Okay.
Is there
But
a leach field?
but it's gotta be approved by New York State Department of Health or DEC, one or the other. But start with Department of Health, Kevin Kenyon, and he'll tell you what you need to do. You know, what
Somebody-
standards you have to meet.
Can some of the staff look into that for us?
Well, Can you do that for us, Karen? I know you're busy. I don't want to put you in another job.
Well, I can at
We'll
least
take care
find
of it.
out what they're gonna want done.
Okay, that's all we need to do.
That's all.
Oh, hold on.
Thank you.
Is there a leach field?
Yeah.
I believe, no, it's a tank.
It's only a holding tank and that's it?
It's
Is
a
it an
holding
old
tank
cesspool?
And, no,
No.
it is a steel tank and a drywall.
So-
Combination.
Okay,
That might be classified more of a repair if we only have to replace part of the system.
yeah, that's possible.
That's why I'm asking that question.
But again, even on those, because of the nature, I think it has, let me make some calls.
Listen, if you make a call, I'll be in tomorrow. We'll call and we'll ask some questions.
Okay.
Thank you very
Let's
much,
do that.
Karen.
All right. Anything, Karen, for you?
The only thing I was gonna discuss was, again, the need for those planning board and zoning board members, and I don't mean to,
You need them.
I need them, but Jim brought up having the lawyer look at the residency thing. Again, I had asked the attorney before whether the members had to be a resident by state law. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you said no, there was nothing out there that said that they had to be a resident, that it would be by resolution if the town had adopted a resolution when these boards were formed. I looked back through, not resolution, local law.
Right.
And I spent some time after that meeting and I looked through the local laws back through, I think 1970, 74 maybe, and there was nothing in there about it at all. So they don't even necessarily have to be a resident. But if that's the case, you had another applicant that was not a resident that was told he could not be because he wasn't a resident. So you
Man up and
probably
have it.
need to look at that one more person to be fair before you make your choices.
Okay. We got a little work to do this week.
That's
Yeah,
the gentleman that,
Can you put me in touch with that person? Can you give me his contact info?
You have.
you should have. a
You
copy
should
of that.
have,
I should have, but I may have.
well, I
Yes.
gave you mine that night, so I no longer
Okay.
have any. But I believe that a conversation was had with this gentleman already about it. And
Yeah,
I almost think you were part of that conversation, Mr. Niles.
I know we talked about it. I didn't speak to him.
Well, I don't know. It's hearsay on my part, but
Yeah.
I just want to clarify that if that person was told he couldn't be a member because he wasn't a resident, then,
I agree. Okay. Now, we had
and I'm
County
sure the
Kim.
town clerk, the clerk's office probably has
Yeah,
copies of all the original applications anyway.
we had 4 applicants for 3 spots. Okay. And it appears as though we have problems, potential residency problems with 2. I would suggest that we make a decision maybe on the other 2, that there are not residency issues.
Okay, whatever you decide, I just want it to be fair.
All right. Well, I will contact that other person and see if they would be willing to interview with us, even though we might not be able to put them on. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but at least that way, when we find out if we can put them on or not, we will have interviewed them and have
Okay,
that part of it done. So I'll contact them.
All right, Karen, that's it for you?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes, in your packets, there's a newspaper article, it's labeled Lake Luzerne Association, and it's the Lake Association's newsletter. And Mr. Schaefer had emailed it to me, asking me to put it up on the town website. If you notice on the front page, on the bottom, they're asking for donations. And I let him know right up front that because of that, I did not believe we could put it up there. So they're willing to retool it and take the donation request off, but he would like that put on the website because it involves the town as well. And he feels that it's good information for the town residents. So I just need you guys to tell me whether you want me to have that put up on the website or not. And I can get that to Jamie tomorrow one way, or get in touch with Mr. Schaefer and have him retool it and get it back to me if that is the case.
Any opinions? I have
I'm-
none. I think it's a good promotional thing.
I'm familiar with this. In fact, I was given the privilege of an edit when it was being written. So I would agree that it's good news for the town. Yeah. I don't have any problem putting it on the website, given the changes you're talking about.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. But it's nice to have some good news once in a while.
Do I have to have a resolution to do that?
No, you got no problem with it? All right. So Paul said you had no problem. We don't really need a resolution or anything. Just a yay from the board.
So I'll get in touch with Mr. Schaefer and then to Jamie. Also, on the buildings and grounds note that's in your packet, when Rick gave that to me, we went over what it said and I told him that you would probably want some type of figures as to what he's looking at. So he's gonna try to get some estimates.
That's for the barrels.
Yeah, for all the beautification and stuff. So I did tell him to try to get some numbers for you guys. Approximate numbers. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, do you have anything? You all set? All right,
I have one little announcement,
go ahead.
please.
Go ahead.
At our last meeting, some of the residents asked us if we could put the October lake study on the website, and that has been done. If anybody wants to read the Darren Freshwater Institute report, it is on the website.
All that stuff to be up there. To be general knowledge for people in town.
Mike, are we any closer in regards to the Pine Hill?
Yeah, we are. I don't know if we'll have it for 2 weeks from now to be finalized, but we've been back and forth a few times and I think have a good understanding of kind of the meeting of the minds as in terms of what's actually happening in the lease.
Okay,
So yeah, it's moving forward.
okay, thank you.
Then I have one like that. How about Northwoods? The dam.
I've heard back from our FOIL request to the comptroller. They are pulling the information that they can find, but I'm going to see if I can narrow down the search for them to help speed it up. Just have to get some more specific information. But as of yet, I don't have any responsive documents from the comptroller's office, just the fact that they are going through the FOIL request to see what they can produce.
Well, we wait too much longer, we might lose the season by the time we put it out to bid and work with them on that. Gotta get moving on it.
Sure. Well, the problem is that like I said, it appears as though everything was prepared to lay the foundation for this, and then it wasn't completed back in the 90s. And so we can't build on it if we didn't have a foundation in the first place.
All right. Well, see no other questions? entertain a motion?
I just thought of one more thing. Due to the fact that we've got a good possibility that we have our own boat and everything, possibly in the fall, we could possibly go out and see if there's additional drivers that are looking to form their own thing. That can go out to bid,
Well, we're gonna put it, we have to put it out to surplus. and we're not
You know what
gonna
I'm
use it.
saying?
Yeah.
not just a corporation type of situation. You know, people leave other companies and need to get a foothold in for one reason or another. And it might be a situation that, you know, a couple, three of those guys might want to get together and maybe do our lake that way also.
Yeah.
Which would help cut down on the cost.
Certainly is a good financial opportunity for somebody.
All right, again.
I'll make
Motion.
a
We got a motion?
motion.
Second,
All right. All in favor?
I, that motion was to adjourn, I take it, right?
We're adjourned.
Yes,
Who made the motion?
I did.
Well,
And who seconded?
I
Jim?
did.
Thank you.
Miles.
all right, thank you, Chris.
Let these just shut.
I didn't know.